Would you get offended if you notice a stranger woman taking safety precautions when she sees you, i.e. not going in the elevator with you, making sure her car is locked if you pass by in a parking lot, getting on the phone with someone, etc.? I kind of expect it. I'm a huge black dude. I would be kind of worried if the sort of people who typically avoid me go out of their way to put in those situations with me. I might be more puzzled than offended, but given the context of where we're at, late at night, when there's no one else around, I'll see why she might want to do that. It's a tough world out there. Offended? No. Saddened? A little bit. I don't think of myself as threatening in any way, so when other people find me threatening, it can be disheartening when I strive to be genuine, approachable, and make people feel safe. That being said, I'd rather a woman feel safe no matter what than make me feel good about not being threatening. Even if they know me really well, I try to take precautions to make people feel safe. Not so much offended as slightly saddened. It is a cold, cruel world sometimes, and while I wish precaution didn't need to be taken, I understand that they do. Personally, I try to do things to put strangers at ease and help them feel more comfortable around me. If I'm walking around at night and there is a woman in front of me who seems nervous, I'll pull out my phone and call a friend. It helps her know where I am and that I have other things on my mind. Alternately, if I'm at a crosswalk with someone, I will walk a bit faster to get ahead of her and then resume my normal walking pace. That way, I'm not walking close behind her or having to deal with a slow walker, so this is a win-win. Life can be tough, and these are little things we can do to be kind to each other. It's not a matter of, you're a big scary man. It is the matter of you or someone I don't know who could hurt me. If I have to take an extra few seconds of my day to alleviate that stress, it is well worth it to make my corner of the earth a better place. Disappointed, but resigned. It sucks that women feel the need to take these precautions around me, but there's enough jerks in the world that is necessary. I wouldn't be offended. I remember one time on campus last year, it was cold and dark, and I was walking back to my dorm wearing a hoodie. I saw a female friend of mine ahead of me, and I started jogging to catch up with her so we could walk and talk. I was confused at first when she started running too until I realized what she must have been thinking. Realizing I was an idiot, I stopped running and called out to her. It was a good laugh at relief when she realized it was me. I have war trauma from making eye contact across the sights of my rifle with a person I have not yet identified as an innocent civilian during a rather tense and frantic situation. Every time I see that look of genuine terror in someone's eyes, I'm back on that dusty roadside in the desert and I feel like a monster all over again. I wouldn't be offended, but I'll feel somewhat bad that someone views me as intimidating enough that they wouldn't feel safe around me. Social perception matters. No guy doesn't seem to realize that we literally pose a physical threat to women. Imagine going through life knowing that you can pretty much physically overpower by another sex. It's not a nice thought. So no, I don't get offended if she randomly feels threatened or that she should take her precaution. She might be a little overly scared, but I'm not offended by that. In college, I delivered pizzas in my family's old full-size van. It wasn't quite the creepy van with no windows, but it was a dark colored with tinted windows. At any rate, it was a cold night and I was taking a short delivery. As I'm waiting for the customer to answer the door, about 5 or 6 scantily clad women slowly passed with some complaining about the cold. I asked if they needed a ride somewhere and they excitedly exclaimed, "Yes, please." So I took them. Once I was done with this delivery, I could give them a lift. Well, I finished up and jumped in my van, parked around back and pulled up to them and asked where they wanted to go. A few slowly approached the van when one of the back whispered, "That's the date rape van." This promoted to all take off running, screaming, "Date rape van!" up the campus in the middle of the road with their arms flaring in the air like a cartoon scene. For a moment I was confused and a bit embarrassed, but all in all, it makes sense. I grew up in rural America and there's nothing wrong with my van there, but in the city, it was different. Heck no. Sometimes I feel awkward because I might be scaring a woman. I work until the 22nd age in the evening, and to get in my car I need to pass a bridge over the freeway. But at the 22nd in the evening, it can get scary. So every time I see a female getting on the bridge, I just wait for a little until she has a nice 15 to 20 meters ahead of me. That way, I hope I don't freak her out or anything. The world can be a scary place for women. I have a bit of a different view on this. I'm a trans male, and I pass as a cisgendered male, for lack of a better word, all the time. Before I started my transition, I would kind of take note of men in the area and do the same thing if I had an eerie feeling. Other women used to always feel comfortable with me and safe. I would see a stranger in the hallway or on the street in a store and she would talk to me, laugh with me, joke around, you name it. The moment that my hormones started to change, women started being so different towards me. I didn't mean those who knew me. I'm just saying women who saw me as a stranger, now with more masculine facial structure, were suddenly wary and afraid of me. Nothing about my personality changed at all as a person, but now I looked more like I wasn't safe or trustworthy, I guess. It just used to really upset me. I wanted to shout at them, "It's okay, you're okay, I don't even have a penis yet. However, I decided it was probably make matters worse. I don't care. They can do what they want. I'm just minding my own business. I'm not going to go to any length to make a said person comfortable either. I haven't done anything. I mean, I'm obviously going to do something if I'm like a specific situation. Like if I'm walking 5 meters behind her at night. I'll switch on the other side of the street. But otherwise, it's a no way my issue. On a personal level, mindly. On a realistic level, nope. I'm a big dude, and it's reasonable to assume a man you don't know might be dangerous. It's not a majority of men that are, but the ones that are have given us all a bad name. I get it, and I wish I could do something about it. I'm used to it. I'm an Aboriginal man, so I get that every time I go jogging early in the morning, from men and women alike. I walk around with what my wife calls my church face, just so I look non-threatening. I think anyone with dark skin has had this happen, so I'm not a Robin Crusader. I'm definitely not offended. It's part of my life. Personally, I don't really care. Just as I have no idea what's going on in her head, she has no idea what's going in mine. I could be planning to kill her all for what she knows. Prioritize yourself first. Sometimes I find it funny. One time I was walking to a park and this lady in her 50s, maybe older, looked up, saw me and immediately crossed the street. I couldn't help but laugh and internally thinking, if I really wanted to do something, crossing the street wouldn't help you. I lived in New York now for a few years, and I have a new phenomenon in my life where late at night at the street, women will see me as a threat. That is funny. Yeah, haha, that's silly. It's weird too because I'm still afraid of being kidnapped. I've had older women cross the street to avoid me because, etc. It doesn't offend me. People have to take what they see at face value to protect themselves. If I see a large group of drunk buttholes walking down the street, I'll avoid them, so I don't see why women shouldn't take the same precaution. It must be scary for women to be walking around late at night and see someone like myself who looks sketchy as freak and is much bigger than them. They don't know I'm big and soft crap. A little, but not really if it's just something I notice. Like whatever, that lady's paranoia, but if she's not actively bothering me, what business it is of mine? If she's telling me not to ride in her elevator or whatever, that's a problem. If she's hanging out and taking the next one, no big deal. Also, it would be presumptuous of me to assume that the woman is doing any of this because of my presence. Everyone locks their car in the parking lot. I figure everyone at some point in their life forgot whenever they unlocked it or not and double checked. Maybe the lady waiting for the next elevator is just holding in a big embarrassing fart. One thing that does bug me though, a lot of feminists type parent this quote that men are afraid women will laugh at them. Women are afraid men will kill them. It seems to shift the blame for your own paranoia into the people you're paranoid about. And that's not cool. 99.9% of men aren't going to mess with you. Don't burden us with your fears. Hard to explain. I would be a little offended, but I wouldn't be mad. Obviously, I know that I'm harmless and would never hurt someone. So naturally, if someone views me as possible that way, I'll get a little offended. But at the same time, I can't be mad and blame her. She doesn't know me and there are some real monsters out there. But also, I wouldn't care at all if she didn't want to get on an elevator with me. To be honest, I'll probably prefer she didn't, just so I can be alone. My wife began spreading rumors that I beat her before my divorce and hurt my children. I was shunned by females everywhere. It was soul crushing. Honestly, the isolation was devastating because I was a really social guy prior to. So yes, it hurts deeply to some. To others, they may not even have the kind of stigma or fear associated with the isolation. I used to. I'm African American, short and stocky, but I dressed like Carlton from Fresh Prince and went to private school my whole life. I used to get offended when women would clutch their purses, hug their children closer, cross to the other side of the street, etc. It hurts a little bit, if I'm being honest, to reduce to a stereotype that I was fighting so hard to combat. After listening to true crime podcasts and noticing how some women do it to literally every man they see, I don't care. Take your precautions, ladies. There's some monsters out there. I mean, yeah, a little bit, but I don't blame them. I'm 6'2" and I'm a pretty big guy too. Sometimes I walk to my girlfriend's house at night and occasionally I happen to be walking in the same direction as another woman. I usually just use my phone while I'm walking and I try to walk at a slower pace than the woman in front of me. Other than that, I don't know what else to do. Like, I can't say, hey, I'm not a danger or anything, because that sounds creepy. Personally, no. Staying safe is smart, but I wouldn't go out of my way to accommodate her. I got my stuff to do, my places to be at, and I'm not a threat. And if she wants to be cautious, that's not my responsibility. I do get ticked off at the hypocrisy, though, because there are so many comparable instances that the exact line of thinking, safety first minimizes statistical chances, would be intolerable racism or sexism. Not like wanting Muslim or bearded men on your flight, or assuming that most women want to trick you into false rape allegations. I think usually I just get confused when that happens. I'm not a large fellow, but once I was walking to the bakery by my apartment. On my way back, I was walking behind an elderly woman for a little while. She turned around and said, "I don't know why I'm so afraid of you. All I've got is this water bottle," and pulled a little pocket Aquafina out of her jacket. It was the first time I realized that I can have that effect, even though I don't think I'm very intimidating. I used to live in a city and would always consider this. I'm 6'2", so with a hood up, I can understand coming out is intimidating. At night, if I saw a woman was walking towards me, I would put my hood down. If I was walking past them from behind, I would step a little louder and make my presence more known. I've probably been in scenarios where I came off as intimidating by pure circumstances and coincidence, but never took offense. It's a scary world and I can't blame a woman for being street smart. A few years ago, I was coming home from a hockey game at about 1 in the morning. I was exhausted, had to halt my hockey bag down a city block because parking in the area at the time was not great, and had my hands full with a drink and a takeout container. Now, I'm not a large man, only 5'8", maybe 150 now, thanks to a cinnamon job and beer. I'm walking, I see this woman in front of me walking a monster of a dog that, from my vantage point, came up past her waist on all fours. I wouldn't have even been a snack for this dog, had it to be decided I looked tasty. But it's late night and I'm basically carrying the equivalent of a large duffel bag with me, so I made the effort to drag my heels, cough, whatever to make my presence known. The woman sees me and basically starts ushering the dog along faster, looking back in my direction the entire time. Mind you, I'm good 30 or 40 feet back at least, and I think I feel what a lot of guys in here are talking about. I understand the need to protect yourself. I just never really thought of myself as a threat. It was a bit disheartening just to be seen as that. But that this person saw my short, skinny self with my hands full and a bag as big as I'm weighing me down as a threat while she was walking Clifford the big brown death machine. Hope you guys liked this one. If you have any suggestions on some stories you want to hear, just leave it in the comments. I'll have a new video out tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.